City of Redemption Network, where we are a community of progression. WDOC 92.3 FM, where worship is necessary.
I'm gonna see it. And if you say from heaven first, I will believe it. Yes, I will believe it.
Yana 93.3 FM.
Sweet as sheep. My shepherd got me like little Bo Peep. Hear his voice and I slide when he leaves. And I've never been scary if my choice get a beat. Yeah. Y'all could be the goat, sweet as sheep. My shepherd got me like little Bo Peep. I hear his voice and I slide when he leaves. And I've never been scary if my choice gets a beat.
WALR 75.5 FM.
But then you came and showed me the words to say, the prayers to pray. Give me strength to find my way. I never felt such love, yeah, from somebody. I wish I could, but I can't.
WTKN Radio, playing the darn tootin' best country and bluegrass gospel music in Tennessee and Kentucky.
We shall be in the sweet by and by. Happy praise to the King.
WOKURR Radio. City of Redemption Network, where we are a community of progression.
The Wise Channel celebrates her story, women who did amazing things. You may be wondering why we celebrate women's history. Well, one reason is because most of the time, history is really his story. Over the years, much of history has been written by men, about men, and for men. In fact, about half the people in the world are women. But at the moment, less than 1% of written history is about women. That's a big difference. But it makes sense because in many subjects, we learn more about the accomplishments of men than women. In American history,
the Founding Fathers. These men built and created America.
The Founding Fathers are important. But what about the Founding Mothers, who also helped create and build America? Inventors?
The Wright brothers. These men invented the first successful airplane.
Yes. But what about the great inventions made by women? Civil rights?
Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. These men led the civil rights movement.
But hundreds of women also led the way. This picture of America is his story. But his story is not the whole story. For every history-making man, there is at least one history-making woman. That's why it's important to also learn her story. In March of 1982, America celebrated the first women.
What's poppin'? It's your girl, Rica, Nadine, aka Periodt, y'all. Y'all gonna be happy. Because I got some in my cup this time. But anyway, what's poppin'? It's your girl, Rica Nadine, and you're tuning in to Sippin Tea with Nae Nae. You see that Rica in the back? Girl, I'm trying to switch it up, for real, for real. But we have a very special episode. I'm super excited. Yeah. Of course, I'm going to give a shout out to the foundation that we're going to be donating to pretty soon for the virtual event called hopeforukraine.net. If you want more information about that, please let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But this special guest that we have today, she's I ain't even gonna give y'all a lot of hints, but she's a young woman. She sang. When I say she sang, she sang. And she's doing many things. She has her own show on Instagram that's popping, where she does like a song association. Like y'all know Terrell. It's kind of like that. So I'm super excited to get the tea on what she got going on. So yeah, make sure you share this live, and everybody who's going to be watching the replay, the playback on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're going to be watching, make sure you share this to a friend, because why not? What else you got going on? Nothing. Period. Hey, what's poppin'? How you doing or whatever? But let's bring this woman of God. I want to pronounce her name wrong because I'm in Kentucky, so A's, when you got a lot of A's in the name, it's pronounced certain. So I want to call her Briana, but I'm pretty sure it's Briana Rae. But we gonna ask her. So let's bring her in. Let's get the tea. Period. Hey.
Hi.
So first I want to jump off with, you're gonna have to help me out. I be trying. I really be trying. How do you say your name? Is it Briana or Briana?
Briana.
Okay. With multiple A's, you pronounce like sometimes people put long A's. It's different. It's different for everybody. So it's Briana Rae.
Yes.
Okay, that's cute.
Thank you.
So what made you get into music?
Well, I have a very musical family. My granddaddy sings. All my aunts and uncles, they all sing together actually. So yes, I just grew up around a lot of music, and it was very encouraged that I joined.
So when did you have your come to Jesus moment? I read in your bio, you kind of grew up in the church. You grew up in a faith-based family, basically. So when did you have that come to Jesus moment where you're like, I know him for myself now?
Well, I was baptized around 9, but I didn't all the way know what I was doing because I was so young. But I did feel some sort of emotion and everything in that experience. And then I got baptized again at 17. And I think that that's when I was really starting to develop, my own relationship.
Okay, so what is that, out of all the songs that you've ever came out with, or the songs that you're writing now, like as we speak, or the songs that you're doing now, which one of your songs are your favorite?
It's really hard to say that because, I created them, so they're like my babies. So that's difficult. But I guess there's like 2 that I can say, are like my somewhat favorites. One is called Tiana Song. And I'll just try to wrap it up really quick and just say a little story about that. But my manager, he was a vice principal at one point, and he worked at a school that dealt with children who have behavioral issues. So she was this girl, Tiana. She was, fighting or whatever. So she ended up in detention. And in order to try to steer her in the right direction, he was like, while you're in here, I want you to write a song. And so she started writing this song. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to complete it because she was murdered. And yes. So years later, when he met me, he was like, can you finish this song? And I was like, I don't know, because I wouldn't want to disrespect her or her family or, anything like that. And I don't want to make it something that she would not have wanted it to be. So, yeah, but I agreed to do it because, he knew her and he felt deeply about it and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I ended up doing it. The song is called Tiana Song, so it could be in honor of her. and I really enjoy it. It's like I would say a women's empowerment song, which is perfect for this month because it's Women's Empowerment Month. And yeah, so that's that one. The other one is called Keep My Name Out Your Mouth. Now, this one is like my own story, my own testimony. And basically it just talks about how, there's a lot of he say, she say about who you are like as a person. But you shouldn't believe what anyone says about you other than what God says about you. So it's basically like one of the line is, you say I'm difficult and he says I'm complex. Like,
Right.
Yes.
I feel you. Those are deep. Those are deep songs. Especially like when you do songs when it's your own testimony or when you have to share somebody else's testimony, it just hits different. And it may not hit different for the listeners, but like when you're singing it and performing it, it most definitely like you get emotional. So I'm not an artist, I'm not like that. But I can only imagine. So I get you. Where do I want to go? Because okay, let's talk about your show on Instagram. Girl, I be watching. You got a lot going on. So let's talk about that.
Okay, so the show's called Singing Sundays. I mostly try to do it every Sunday. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But for the most part, every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we have it. And basically, it just is an opportunity for me to network with different artists. And it's like a you help me, I help you type of situation because they might gain some more exposure. And we're sharing followers, et cetera, et cetera. And basically what we do is we have like a little introduction portion. And then we do a game called Song Association, as you were saying before. And at the end, if they have music out, then I'll play one of their songs to close out. Yeah.
Okay. So, dang, where do I want to go? There's so many things. I want to go in so many areas because I'm a young woman too. So I'm like, there's so many areas I want to tap. I want to tap on social media. This. I'm like, there's so much. But how do you balance being relevant, not only in the music industry, but also being relevant on social media, being relevant and doing what you're supposed to do in your own relationships, like your mom, being a daughter, being, if you're a girlfriend, being a girlfriend, being a sister. How do you balance all that?
I would say the biggest challenge is balancing being a student and being a artist. Because you want to dedicate as much time as possible to both in order to be successful, which is what it takes, dedication and time, effort. But there are clashes here and there. Like right now, I'm at school right now,
Right.
and I'm doing the interview. So yeah, but I feel that doing music and being an artist is a part of my purpose that God has for me. And so, he'll work it all out.
I feel you on that. That's for sure. I feel like sometimes as young people, we put whatever is priority to us in that season. So if we feel like Instagram is what we're supposed to be working on right now, we focus on that. We feel like school, we focus on school. So I can understand what you mean with balance, especially with the balancing school and then everything else. And also remaining, faithful in your relationship with God. Like it's kind of hard, to be honest. Like it's work. So I really don't understand how people be getting in trouble out here. Like how you got time to get in all this trouble and you have to manage. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, so what are three people that have what are or who are three people who have been most influential to you in your ministry?
As far as like musicians,
Singing, music.
Okay, inspiration and influence. are two different things. But I would say Kirk Franklin because he kind of helped me cultivate the type of music that I wanted to make. Because he does play with different genres within gospel, and that's something that I also do. And I just grew up listening to him, and if you ask me, he's the GOAT. Who else? I want to say Whitney, but I can't hit Whitney notes. So, so I don't want to be out here saying that she's an influence on my voice, but she is an inspiration. Because as far as singers, like, she's it for me. I would also say Jonathan McReynolds because his writing style is very inspirational to me, and it helps me to want to be a better writer and just pay attention to how he makes things so relatable with just simple words, simple terms. It doesn't have to be too, have too many metaphors or anything like that. It's just simple and people get it, and can relate to it. And so I want to get to that point with my music where it's easy for me to write like that.
Okay, those are good ones. Whitney, Kurt, Jonathan. Since you did mention Jonathan, I wasn't gonna go there, but I'm glad you did. So I seen that video that you have on your Instagram. Where was that, like a dating show or something?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so it was like a dating show, and she was like, "So what do you do?" And you were like, "I'm a gospel artist." And then she asked you some other questions. Then all of a sudden, she was like, "Give me a second." And then all of a sudden, I see Jonathan McReynolds, and you're singing for Jonathan. Everything just escalated so quickly.
Yeah.
So how was that? How was that for you as an artist? You just mentioned Jonathan as well.
Right. So I had no idea that they knew each other. So it was a huge surprise. I did know she was gonna ask me for like 20 seconds because I've just seen like other artists go in there and she'd be like, "Oh, give me 20 seconds if you say that you're an artist." And so I was prepared. I knew exactly what I wanted to sing and everything like that. But I had no idea Jonathan McReynolds himself was gonna be there after I just sung his song.
Right.
And so it was a great experience, and I was just honored to be able to sing for him his own song. And it brought about a lot of opportunities and a lot of blessings. I gained a whole lot of followers and supporters. And Kendra actually paid for me to do his masterclass. Wow. And so, yeah, and that has been a really beneficial thing also.
Okay, I see you, girl. But yeah, I was like, honey, that's a, what's it called? A miracle moment. That's what I'm gonna call it. A miracle moment. Like, just out of the blue, like, boom, give me 20. And then boom, he just pop up. And then you just sing. I can only imagine. I know this one girl. She was singing for Karen Clark Sheard. And you know her vocals.
Yeah.
And she was singing a Clark Sisters song, which is difficult to do, by the way. And she was on there very confidently. I was like, honey, it couldn't be me. I'd be crying. If she was on the screen, I wouldn't even have the courage to sing her own song to her.
Right.
But I'm glad someone has the confidence. Because I don't. It's a no for me. I would be looking like, what you want me to do? Okay, so now let's touch on, being young, being in ministry, doing social media, body positivity, because I really believe we're stepping foot into the body positivity era, which I'm so excited for. Don't nobody look like these Barbie dolls out here. I promise you not. Social media is fake. So, what is your perspective on social media, body positivity, loving yourself, self-love? What is that?
I would say to someone who is trying to get into the industry and trying to use social media as a tool, go into it knowing who you are and knowing what you're there to do. Because if you are doing something right, there's always going to be somebody trying to bring you down.
Right.
And so there's always going to be the trolls and all that kind of stuff. And you have to just remind yourself why I'm here, why I'm doing this, and pay attention to probably the 50 other people that are supporting you and saying nice things to you. Don't let that 1 or 2 or 3 people, get to you.
Right.
As far as body positivity, it's the same thing. When I went on Kendra, there was some guy. I had hundreds of comments of people saying, "Oh, she's beautiful. Oh, she has a wonderful voice." Da da da. All those things. There's probably like 2 people who said something that wasn't the nicest. But one guy in particular was like, "Oh, she needs to lose some weight" or something like that. And of course, I had to go back and forth or whatever. I've been delivered from that. But
not all of us, just you. I'm gonna clap that.
But yeah, I went back and forth or whatever, and I let it get to me, and I was like, I'm really letting this guy take away all the joy that I got from all these people saying all these really nice things to me, just off this one guy who has like 2 pictures. And like, it's never somebody who's out there popping. It's always somebody creeping. Yeah.
Right.
So just keep in mind why you're there. I'm like, I wasn't there for you to look at my body. I was there to sing.
Right.
So
right. I completely agree. I've been on this wave, especially like with TikTok, Instagram, the reels are going on, the 60 seconds, whatever, 15, whatever you call it. And I'm like, okay, God, like, okay, you got me on here. I reached a certain amount of numbers. I'm like, okay, God, it's time for me to boom. Like, come on. So I'm doing these videos, like, it's Christian content. Like, it's like, oh, Christians need to do more of this. Pray more, read the Bible. So the more I post, the more trolls like, girl, your God don't even exist. And I'm like, people got a lot of opinions to say you ain't paying my bills. Like, it'd be different if you was sitting here paying my bills. I can value your opinion, but you ain't paying my bills.
Right.
So it's like, why do you feel like your opinion? And it'd be old, no offense to anybody else who old Caucasian men. I'm like, you got an opinion about every Black woman on the internet. Every Black woman. I'm like, humble yourself. And like you said, they be having 3 pictures, one of their dog or their horse or their car. And then, it's like, no, honey, no.
Right.
But like you, it did affect me at first. And I was like, girl, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do it. God, you ain't call me in this area. And then then after, I was fearful of God elevating me. That's how bad it got. I was like, God, if this is what it's like at the top, I don't know if I want to be up there. I don't know if I want to deal with that. So I had to like walk myself through it because, the pressures of social media. Like you see these YouTube couples with the big house, the kids by 21, 3 kids by 20. I still don't understand that math, but that's none of my business. 3 kids by 21 and, the fancy cars. So how do you deal with the pressures of social media? You like brush it off and like, girl, it happens.
I just feel like I have to keep in mind not to beat myself up because I'm doing the best that I can and I know the effort that I am putting in to it. So I can't be, watching what someone else is doing. I'm doing what I can do.
Right.
And I have to offer what I have to offer.
Right.
And seeing things like that, it could get to you. It really can. But I believe that, God has perfect timing. And when it's time for me to have all those things, I will. But right now he has, other assignments for me to fulfill to be able to get there. So.
Okay, so now that we touched on social media, what do you deem or what do you see as success? Because everyone deems it differently.
I would love to say, like, oh, if I could just reach one person, which
Mhm.
is true,
Very
but I want to
Christian
be
like
able to
too.
reach a lot more than one person.
Right.
Um, and so honestly, I did a showcase one time, and this girl came up to me after, and she was like, she was a lesbian, and she was like, I left the church because they weren't accepting me because of my sexuality, da da da. And she was like, your music really made me feel something. It made me want to think about going back to church and all of that. And stories like that alone, I feel like I'm successful. I feel like I've made it, because that's my whole goal, my entire purpose. So the more people that I get, coming to me, telling me stories like that, the more people that I can get to even give God a try, I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do.
Okay. I like that answer, because some people be like, girl, if I got 3 cars sitting in that driveway, girl, I'm successful. No, honey, you're not. You just got a little bit of money. That's it. Are you paying your taxes? Okay. But anyway, I'm so messy. Let me stop. Uh, so what are some things that you feel like people misunderstand about you?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. I feel that I'm a very misunderstood person. And that song I was talking about earlier, Keep My Name Out Your Mouth, I feel like that speaks on that a lot, because I feel like people have different perceptions of me, but that's not actually who I am. Um, I have been told I could come off standoffish, or that I'm mean or something like that. And that's because most of the people saying that have never actually met me or had a conversation with me. They're going based off of how I look, or if I ran up to them to speak or whatever. I'm kind of shy. I'm kind of to myself. But if someone has a conversation with me, I'm really like one of the nicest people ever. I just find that a lot of people don't give me a chance before, making preconceptions of me. Yes.
So out of all the things you do, you're a daughter, you're a sister, you're a gospel artist, you're a student. I would consider you a mentor as well, because I seen you shouting out some people. Even there was this one interview. I said one interview. There was this one show that you did on Sunday, and I believe the girl was 15. So I would consider you a mentor too. Oh, 14. That's even younger. You're a mentor. I mentioned gospel artists. Gospel artist. Dang, I need to backtrack. I need to stop talking. But yeah, if you had to put any of those things down, like for a season, which one would it be and why? Of course, you can't put the daughter or the sister. That was hard to put down.
Right. I've never really considered myself a mentor, but I receive it. I definitely would say that I war for other people. I feel like I'm somebody that makes themselves readily available for people to open up to, or if you need me to pray for you, if you need me to just sit and listen. Um, that's really hard. I would say I was teetering between school and I guess being a mentor. Because school, I mean, I would just drop school. But sometimes I feel like I kind of have to step back from being like a mentor, because it can be a lot to take on, because I have my own things going on. And so the thing about the devil is
Come on.
when when he sees that you are trying to get his people, I guess, or the people he thinks are his people, trying to expose them to something different, something new, which is God. He attacks, and he will attack you because you're being that bridge between that person being exposed to God. So I've definitely been experiencing that even now. And it can be very difficult. And so there are times where I'm like, I'm not cut out for this. I'm just chill. I'm gonna just stay in my own little corner. But God is like, no, like this is a part of your purpose to minister to people. Yeah.
As an artist, what would you say is your character flaw? I guess you would call it.
Character flaw. As an artist.
Like for me, as a media company owner, mine's is procrastination. Like I'll be sitting on stuff for like there's some interviews I'm sitting on for years. And it's not about not having the content, it's about me procrastinating, putting it out there because I want to, and I'm a perfectionist. So it's like those two, procrastination, perfectionist, don't really go together, but that's what I would say my character flaw is.
Okay. It's hard for me to say this because I know that any type of fear, anxiety, doubt, that's all the devil. That's the only tricks that he has up his sleeve. So anytime that I feel like that, I know what it is. But, that doesn't stop me from feeling that way. I just know where it's coming from. So it's easier to deal with. But I do doubt myself a lot, especially, if I'm in the studio or even if I'm trying to write a song and it's just not flowing the way that I want it to. I might be like, am I really cut out for this? Like, can I write a song better than the last one I just had? Why can't I hit this note? I've tried this note like 5 times. It's not coming out, and the people around me, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, you sound crazy. Like you have a gift and all that stuff. And sometimes it just, you can't get out your own head, no matter what everybody else around you is saying. Yeah.
So you would say your character flaw is you.
Doubt. Yeah. Doubting myself.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Honestly, when you think deep on it, I think a lot of us, we're the problem, especially when it comes to advancing in our different ministries and, touching people. Because, you'd be sitting in these cute little churches and praising God at these little concert Serena type buildings. And I'm like, girl, Jesus preached to the prostitutes. Why y'all in a building? So I can most definitely get that. I think I'm the same way. I think my biggest, it's procrastination too, but my biggest thing is where do I want to take this last question? Okay, I want to show you a video actually. Okay. And I want to get your opinion about it because there is a lot going on. On my show, you're going to get the tea regardless. So, the war. Well, I won't say a war, but it's a war. A war is going on in Ukraine. And there's some different images I'm going to bring up. And even if you have a little song on your head that you want to sing or whatever, let me know how you feel about it. Is that okay?
Okay.
This will be the last one, I promise you. Let's run it.
Finally, we want to leave you with some of the images and moments of a crisis still very much unfolding in Ukraine. Harrowing scenes of loss, desperation, uncertainty, but also defiance and hope.
Okay, that's enough. I couldn't take any more. That was real. I didn't expect it to be that sad. I watched some of it, but some of them I was like, especially with kids involved, I can't. My heart. But anyway, what were your thoughts seeing that?
You know, the world is really a crazy and scary place right now. Um, and I'm grateful, you know, that I myself am not experiencing what they're going through right now. But I'm also praying for them. I'm also concerned. I have empathy. But I know that all of this, everything happening in the world right now is happening for a reason. It's all in God's plan. And so there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Sentimental. So how can we listen to your music? How can we stay afloat? Of course, we can check you out on your website.
Yeah.
Scrolling at the bottom. But how can we check out your music?
I'm on all music platforms under Briana Rae, Briana Rae. I have a EP out. It was released in 2019. It's called Here for a Reason. And I have several singles that have come out, including, I think the last one was It's Above Me Now, which was released in 2021. So yes, you can go check those out. Follow me on Instagram, which is where I'm most prominent, at Briana Rae Music. Music spelled MUSIK. It's the same as on screen. I'm on TikTok, and those are the things I'm on the most: Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for coming to sip some tea. Look, I should have grabbed my mug. But thank you for sipping some tea with me. It was a pleasure to finally match a voice with a face, if that makes sense. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, until next time, you guys, make sure you support Hope for Ukraine because, like you've seen those pictures, a lot's going on. I don't think we really know I want to say magnitude. Hopefully that's the word I want to use. But we really don't know what all is going on over there. We can only tell by what's being seen on news and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's way worse than what they're putting on the news. Because you know how TV is, FCC, you know. Anyway, but yeah, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sippin Tea with Nae Nae. Until next time, you guys, like I always say, nobody can be you but you. So be the best version of you. Period, pooh.